I've pretty much played every single D&D class at this point, and I was kind of getting bored with my characters. I typically play paladins, druids, sorcerers, that kind of characters. So I decided to branch out, and my goal was to play every single D&D character, or D&D character class, at least once this year. And so far I'm doing pretty well. I've played a bard, I've played a ranger, I've tried out a rogue. However, I'm about to start a virtual campaign, and I decided, well, hey, why don't I play the most hated class in D&D, the monk? Now, my first ever experience playing with or against a monk, I should say, was during a campaign and with a unbalanced fight that unfortunately almost TPK'd our party. Basically, we were going up against a monk 1v1, the entire party. We were level 7, the monk was level 20, and so multiple player characters ended up dying, so I was kind of like, okay, yeah, I shouldn't play a monk. Basically, what I'm trying to say is that the entire situation kind of left a bad taste in my mouth, and so for the longest time, I didn't want to play a monk. Also, the fact I had heard that it was just the most underpowered D&D class, and that it doesn't really scale / level up that correctly with the rest of the other classes. So like I said earlier, I'm about to be playing a monk, so I'm doing research. Basically, the entire bread and butter of a monk is you attack with a weapon, and then using your bonus action, you're able to hit someone with part of your body, doing martial arts, typically doing from 1d4 up to 1d10 damage. And then you can use more of these key points to basically do more attacks using your bonus action. Now, I'm going to be playing a Way of the Shadow monk, so my character is basically going to be very stealthy, using shadow magic, and this is the section of the video now where I critique the monk. The monk is a fine class, however, it doesn't leave that much room for multi-classing. And the main reason why is every monk works off of a value called ki. It's basically the internal magic coming from yourself and the nature around you. So TLDR, all monks are sorcerers. Just kidding, of course. But every time you take a level, you get an upgrade to your ki. Starting at level 2, you have 2 ki points. Ending at level 20, you have 20 ki points. So you can see the progression there. Side tangent, monks should totally have ki points at level 1. Like, you should totally have 1 ki point at level 1. That way you're able to do Fury of Blows. That's like their entire class mechanic. I don't see why they should be banned from using it at level 1. Anyways, back onto the main topic. The reason why I say that they don't really synergize well with any other classes, or why you can't really multi-class with a monk, is every time you take a level in a different class, you're not getting any more key point upgrades, along with monks pretty much at every level are getting a new feature, let that be from their main class progression, from their subclass. You're constantly getting these new features. Alright, my second critique with monk. Why can't monks use all weapons? In 2014 5th edition, I haven't checked out 2024 5th edition yet, so I don't know this, but in 2014 5th edition, monks can only use simple weapons, which makes no sense. If this person has been trained at a monastery throughout their entire life, and have been training in certain weapons, why wouldn't they be taught to use a longsword or a battle axe? And whenever it comes to weapon using, improv is a real thing, or taking skills that you've learned to wield from other weapons and then applying that to a new weapon that you are wielding. Basically, what I'm trying to say is, if you can cut something with a katana, then you can most likely cut something with a longsword. That's just a nitpick, though. On to the next thing. Next up, subclasses just don't really feel powerful enough. However, I'm giving that a pass because you can't really balance a subclass around a class that is already getting so many features during their main progression. A great example of this is Way of the Shadow. You gain the minor illusion cantrip, along with being able to cast Dark Vision, Darkness, Pass Without a Trace, and Silence. And my last problem with the monk is, honestly, I think that they should have a D10 hit dice. I get that monks throughout the entirety of D&D's history has been an assistant to the rogue or a modified version of the rogue. However, the way that Monk is supposed to be played is you're supposed to be up there in the front lines, next to the Barbarian, next to the Paladin, next to the Fighter. You know, all these classes have very high hit dice. That means that they can take a lot of damage, and they're going to give the Monk, someone that's supposed to be a frontline fighter, the most average hit dice in the game. Alright, now to some things that I like. I really like the key system. I think it is the perfect balance in between spell slots and martial ability charges. I think the progression that if you want to go from martial to spellcaster should honestly be, you know, your martial class that has no spells. So fighter, barbarian, then go to a monk who has their own resource management using ki. However, they can still fight, so they can rely on their fighting abilities if someone gets overwhelmed. Then you bring them to a half caster that has both fighting abilities and spell slots, and then finally a full caster. Also, Monk definitely has its own identity. It's way different than any other fighting class in the main way that you are able to attack and then do additional damage. By level 5, you are attacking twice, using your martial weapons, and then using a bonus action martial art, and then spending a key point to do Flurry of Blows, and then spending a key point to do Stunning Strike. At level 2, using average numbers, you just did 10 damage and that enemy is stunned, until at least the beginning of your next turn. One last thing I want to throw in at the end of this video before I end it, I kind of forgot, so this is so last minute. Please give monks better starting equipment. Currently, the only thing they have is a martial weapon, a Dungeoneer's pack, and 10 darts. At least give the monks something to represent their monastery, maybe like an amulet or a banner, something like that. I don't know, I feel like that'd be cool for roleplay reasons. Anyways, thank you for listening to me yap. Please like and subscribe, and bye.